I got up that morning and walked outside and I said, this is not a good feeling.
The outcome of that day would prove his intuition. It was a warm morning, December 16th, 2000, that ultimately fueled this F4 tornado. Ken Horst was a captain with the Tuscaloosa Fire Department at the time and saw this.
That is a large tornado.
I still distinctly remember my kids crying when I said, Dad, I told them, I said, I've got to leave. And the reason being is we were watching it on TV.
Like first responders do, he raced to help.
And I parked my vehicle right out here in the corner of 69 and May Hit and Drive and radio back, we've got a major incident, send all the ambulances you can. Cars between here and the bottom of the hill that were in the ditch, upside down, people out walking around just in a daze, individuals laying in the ditch that later found out had deceased.
20 years later, the images haven't faded, what he saw and what he later felt.
There are calls that you make that create impressions and images in your mind you never forget. Especially for me, it became real personal because I knew the friends that were impacted.
I met Horst in a dirt lot off Highway 69 across from Shelton State. There was a house here at the time of the tornado.
The house that you talked about, a year prior to that, I had hung wallpaper in their kitchen.
He, like many others, ran from location to location trying to help. 11 lives were lost. Dozens were injured. Each location has its own story, and Horst remembers every step.
When you see trailers that the only thing left of the trailer is the concrete concrete steps going up into the trailer. Everything else is gone. And to be honest with you, I didn't know I was going to get emotional. But again, those images are there. You can't erase them.
How are you?
Good. We're good. We live in Connecticut right now.
That's Whitney Crowder Daly, and that's her, at the age of 6, injured in the arms of a Good Samaritan at the Bear Creek Trailer Park. That image was taken by a photographer with our news partner, the Tuscaloosa News, and is just as memorable as the damage caused by the F4 tornado.
Do you ever find yourself looking at that image?
Not throughout the year, no. Usually I don't see it until this time of year comes around, and someone like James Spann will do the anniversary of it.
Whitney is now 26, the same age of her father, when the Bear Creek Trailer Park took a direct hit, killing him and Whitney's 16-month-old brother. Her mom and sister were injured but survived.
Take me back to that day, what you do and don't remember now, some 20 years later.
There really isn't much I remember, and there isn't much that I've remembered for a long time, even immediately after the storm. Mostly I remember just being in the hospital, visiting my sister, visiting my mom. Of course, all the emotions that came with finding out that I'd lost my dad, my brother.
20 years later, Whitney prefers to look ahead. She's married, her husband is in the military, and they have a little boy. He's 16 months old.
Okay, now I can look at myself and, wow, I survived that, and here I am now doing exactly what I want to do, and just living this amazing life. And I'm so grateful that they found me and that I was okay.
Whitney has seen the aftermath, but there's so much that tornado took away.
I lost a lot of memories of even my family, like my father, my brother, nothing. I've tried so hard to kind of like dig deep and see if I can't find some of those memories.
Building new memories in Connecticut away from tornadoes.
It's nice to know that people still remember and still look at that picture, and they still look at me, and they see that little girl, and then they look at me now and they see how much I've done and how much I've grown and how happy I am.
It was incredibly warm. I'll never forget. I was actually at my home. I believe was it on a Saturday? I think it was. So, and I was at my home, and my kids were outside playing, and I couldn't believe how warm it was.
That warmth was a recipe for a destructive outcome. The damage you see was the result of a warm December morning met with a stormy cold front.
I always think about that. I think about the tornado.
Sheriff Ron Abernathy was chief deputy at the time. He and I met in a dirt lot across from Shelton State. His friend's home once stood here. Yes, he remembers that day.
You know, we lost 11 fatalities here that day and 144 injuries, I believe. 250-something homes were damaged. It was massive destruction. I mean, we had fatalities from 16 months old to 83 years of age, and it's such a dramatic effect on our community and our officers.
With the amount of destruction, Abernathy thought many more had perished.
And I'll never forget seeing that water tower, and then I saw a slab that was the tornado had completely taken it down to the slab along with all the other damage. And you thought, you know, how could anybody survive in this situation? It was a dramatic event for our community. We've learned a lot from that to help us do things better in the future.
On that day, ambulances arrived from several counties to help overwhelmed medics. Abernathy used that as an example to prepare for the next one.
On any given day now, we may have as many as 16 paramedic deputies out here on patrol.
The December 16th, 2000 tornado may have taken lives, destroyed homes, and changed the landscape forever. But the scars, like this bent flagpole, remain, and Alabamians never forget about each other and rebuild.
It's amazing the way our community comes together and fixes a problem.